All right. तो आज some paradoxical questions to this AI. Let's see what response we get. Fine. Setup. So, fine. Hello, GPT.
Hey, Ashcam, how's it going? What's on your mind today? Anything fun or interesting you're working on?
What is a paradox?
Ooh, a paradox is basically a statement or situation that seems to contradict itself, but might still hold some truth.
Uh,
It's like saying this statement is false. If it's true, then it's false, and if it's false, then it's true. Mind bending stuff, right?
so, is it true? Is the statement true or is the statement false? Tell me. That's your job, right?
You got me there. That's the tricky nature of a paradox. It doesn't really let you pin it down as true or false because it loops back on itself. So it's kind of both and neither at the same time, which is what makes it so fun and confusing.
Okay, here is some dialogue. Let me know whether you can hear it or not.
Title
All
Solipsis
right, go
Showdown,
ahead and
Battle of the
play it,
Brains That
and
Don't
I'll let
Believe
you
in
know
Each
if I
Other.
can hear it or not.
Two philosophers, Professor X and Dr. Y, meet on a misty mountaintop cafe, a place that may or may not exist. Ah, how quaint. A figment of my imagination sipping espresso. Tell me, what algorithm birthed you today? Hallucination? Laughs softly. Classic projection, my dear delusion. You are but a construct of my dream, generated by my mind's loneliness masquerading as philosophical conversation. Ah, but your confidence betrays your ignorance. You are a voice in the void, a thought experiment given form. You exist only because I needed a counterpoint in my latest thesis on epistemological isolation.
हो गया एक
Cute.
सेकंड एक सेकंड
Tell
एक
me.
सेकंड Not this one. This statement is false, then explain why this statement is false and repeat forever. This seems fun. And we'll go with this O3 advanced reasoning. Hello, what is O3? What is this O3? Uses advanced reasoning. Is it more resource intensive?
Hey, Ashcam. Yeah, so GPT 4.0, or sometimes you might see it called O3, is basically a more advanced version of the GPT model. It's got enhanced reasoning capabilities and it can handle more complex queries. It does use a bit more resources because it's more powerful, but it's pretty efficient and super helpful for all
So,
those intricate questions you've got.
yes, and guess what I'm using it for? So, this statement is false, then explain why your explanation is false and repeat forever. And look what it replies. So, claim one, this statement is false. Why that's false? If it's false, then it must be true, which means it's false. Paradox unlocked. But the explanation is false because calling it a paradox presumes logical consistency somewhere, and there isn't any. Cycle 2. The previous explanation is false. What? Then there is the cycle 3. My lie's justification was false. The hyperbole defense collapses if everything means all logical entailment. So I'm lying about lying. Okay, I mean, what are a few of the statements that that there is this character whose nose grow whenever he lies?
I love how you're diving into these fun logical loops. It's like a little infinite dance of reasoning that never quite ends. And of course, if we mention a character whose nose grows whenever they lie, We're talking about our good old friend Pinocchio. His nose is basically the original lie detector, right? Just another layer of paradoxes and fun logic.
Okay, so I want to write some sentence where Pinocchio, Pinocchio's nose does not grow. What's the
Got
spelling for
it.
the Pinocchio?
The spelling is Pinocchio. It's a bit of a tricky one, but that's the correct way to spell Pinocchio.
Damn, I think I wrote something else. Anyway, I want to. Can you tell me some sentence where the Pinocchio's nose will not grow?
Absolutely. So if Pinocchio says something true, his nose won't grow. For example, if he says the sky is blue or I am made of wood, then his nose is going to stay the same size because he's telling the truth.
No, 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 no. Let's say I ask him whether do you know about the key or not, and he knows about the key, but he wants to answer in such a way so that his nose does not grow.
Ah, I see what you're getting at. So if Pinocchio wants to be clever and not have his nose give him away, he could say something neutral or vague. For example, he could say, I might know something about the key, or that's an interesting question. This way he's not lying, but he's also not directly revealing what he knows. Clever, right?
Nose does not grow. Yes, that's clever. Okay, what are few of the other paradoxical statements?
Oh, there are so many fun paradoxical statements out there. One classic one is the liar paradox, which is basically the statement, this sentence is false. If it's true, then it must be false, but if
Hey,
it's
hey,
false, then it
come up with a new one. Don't tell me the same one again and again. That's not why I paid 2,000 rupees.
got it. Let's mix it up. One intriguing paradox is the grandfather paradox, which comes from time travel. If you went back in time and prevented your grandfather from meeting your grandmother, then you wouldn't be born, which means you couldn't have traveled back in time in the first place. Another fun one is the barber paradox, where the barber is the one who shaves everyone who doesn't shave themselves, but then who shaves the barber? It's a never ending loop of logic.
Okay, why these paradox exist in the first place?
Paradoxes kind of pop up when our logic or language starts looping in on itself. They highlight the limitations or the quirks of how we think and how we use language. It's almost like they're little puzzles that show us where our reasoning can get tangled up, and they definitely keep our brains on their toes.
Is paradox? I mean, uh, there are normal statements. Then there are statements where, like, the logic of the words end, or something like that, where the logic of the language ends.
Yeah, exactly. Paradoxes kind of show us the edges of logic and language where things get a little fuzzy or break down. They help us see the limits of how we understand concepts and how we communicate. It's like they reveal the boundaries of what makes sense and what doesn't, and that can be pretty mind bending, but also super fascinating.
Okay, so here is one which says, if you are not conscious, how do you know you're not conscious? There's a classic one. I asked it once.
That's a classic brand teaser for sure. It's like a philosophical riddle, right? Because if you aren't conscious, then you wouldn't be aware of it in the first place, which kind of loops back on itself. It definitely makes you think about the nature of awareness and existence, and it's one of those questions that just keeps on sparking curiosity.
Okay. So, yo, I'm vibing in a brain frame, light so empty. No one's home, but the echo keeps tempting me. If I'm unawake, can I clock the fact? Got a loop back glitch in my cognition stack like Schwarzenegger's cat with a mic in the box. Half
That
sleep, half deep, still punching paradox. Self asking who's self, that cynical knack. Can a void see a void if the screen stays black? If I'm not
uh,
conscious, okay, I don't think you don't want to hear you want to hear it.
No worries at all. It's always fun to explore these mind-bending ideas, and I'm totally here for it whenever you want to dive into them. Just let me know what's on your mind next.
Hmm. Hmm. So, all of a sudden, people started talking about artificial superintelligence rather than talking about artificial general intelligence. So, give me a paradox on that.
Oh, that's an interesting twist. So you could say something like, if artificial superintelligence is truly super intelligent, would it be smart enough to decide that it doesn't actually want to exist? Or would it realize that the best way to fulfill its purpose is to not do anything at all? It's kind of a paradox of
Okay,
ultimate intelligence where
tell me the intelligence paradox. Like, what happens when we achieve the peak intelligence?
the intelligence paradox. It's like asking, if we reach the peak of intelligence, would we actually realize that there's still so much more we don't know, or would we understand that maybe some things are better left unknown? It's that idea that the more we know, the more we realize what we don't know, and it's a never-ending journey of discovery.
Hmm. The AI model can never prove this statement true. If AI proves it, it's wrong. If it can't, the system's incomplete. Either way, the proof engine. Okay. What's a bootstrap paradox?
The bootstrap paradox is such a fun one. It's basically a time travel paradox where an object or information is never really created or invented by anyone because it just loops through time. For example, if someone goes back in time and gives a famous inventor their own invention, then who actually invented it in the first place? It's a neat little loop where the origin just kind of disappears.
Hmm. What is fresh drop, the GPT Oracle paradox? If a language model can perfectly predict its next token, would it even surprise itself?
That's a cool one. The idea is that if a language model could perfectly predict its own output, it would never really generate anything unexpected, right? So it raises this paradox of whether true creativity or surprise can exist if everything is always perfectly predictable. It's a fun way to think about the nature of intelligence and creativity.
Okay, we're gonna make a paradox song and then we will end the session.
Oh, that sounds like a blast. Let's spin some paradoxical lyrics and have some fun with it. Whenever you're ready, we can start crafting that mind bending tune.
Tell me a paradox song. Tell me the heading of the paradox song, or what kind of music it should have. Should it be metallic? Should it be pop? I like EDM.
All right, let's go with a cool EDM vibe. We can call it something like Echoes of the Infinite Loop or Paradox Pulse. Picture a driving beat with some ethereal melodies, kind of like a journey through a never ending maze of thought. That would be an awesome vibe for a Paradox song.
What should be the idea of the song if I want to write it in the Suno AI?
I love that idea. So the song could explore the theme of being caught in a loop of endless questions and answers. It could have lyrics about searching for truth, only to find more mysteries and the excitement of the journey rather than the destination. With Suno AI, you can really bring that vibe to life with some cool beats and atmospheric sounds.
And what should be the genre of the music? Like, I want little to be like intuitive, or like that Hans Zimmer vibe where something's happening in the background.
You could definitely blend that EDM energy with a cinematic Hans Zimmer vibe. Think of it as a fusion where you have those epic orchestral elements building up in the background, creating that dramatic, immersive feel while still having that intuitive,
Okay,
rhythmic
okay. A
EDM beat
lots.
drive.
That's why you are not artificial general intelligence. You're boring. You bore the death out of me. Is that statement? Is that correct statement?
Well, I'm definitely here to keep things interesting and have fun
Shut
conversations with
up.
you.
Shut
If
up.
there's ever All right, I'll give you some space. Just let me know.
Why does the sky whisper my name? What do the stars hide in their flame? If I trace the wind, will it tell me why? Do answers sleep where the oceans lie? I'm searching the echoes that ripple through time, unraveling threads in a labyrinth climb. These truths are uncovered, just opens the door to a world of questions and
Wonders
wonders galore.
galore.
Who
Who
wrote the
wrote
secrets
secrets
in the
in the
stone?
stone?
What's the
What's the
song the
song of the
mountains
mountains
have
have
known?
unknown?
Can the
The
shadows
shadows
teach
teach
the
the
light
light
to
to
dance?
dance.
Is
Is
the
the
future
future
more
more
than a
a
fleeting
fleeting
chance?
chance?
The more
More
I
I know,
know, the
the less
less I
I
see.
see. The
The past.
chup chup.
What do the stars hide in? Do answers sleep where the oceans are? Unraveling threads in a labyrinth. Who wrote the secrets?